This video is sponsored by Mr. Prep prescribed online and delivered to your doorstep for free.
Outfit check.
It's me, Nurse Bus, and welcome back to Hot or Rat. And today we're going to be reviewing episode 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race UK Series 5, aka gathering in the name of the Lord to read our Bibles in unison in an all ages appropriate YouTube video. Are they still listening? And today our 10 disciples, were challenged to create runway looks out of unconventional materials. Category is Purrfect Pet Shop, featuring the editor-in-chief of British Vogue, Edward, and his little dog, Rue. Naming your dog Rue and then bringing that dog to RuPaul's Drag Race to help guest judge or go through the workroom, whatever, that do take nerve. So we'll be going queen by queen to break down each look as well as covering the drama that happened this episode between Cara Melle and Tomara Thomas. Seems there's been some girl-on-girl crime. And then we'll be playing another round of I Spy with my little eye, a disqualified queen, and ending the video with some silly little Instagram dramas with A'Whora and Raja. But you know what they say, if you stay prepped, you don't have to get prepped. And you can get free online prep and STI testing from the sponsor of today's video, Mr. Here's how it works. First, click the link in the description of my video to visit HeyMr.com and complete your confidential and judgment-free health review in minutes. Next, you'll receive an at-home testing kit. No needles and no doctor's visit required. Complete it and send it back. Then a licensed physician will review your results and prescribe prep if appropriate for you. And if prescribed, Mr. works with your insurance company and or patient assistance programs to ensure you have no out-of-pocket costs. And insurance or not, they've got you covered. You'll get prep completely free, and it'll be delivered straight to your door in discreet packaging. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description of my video to get prep and stay prepped for free. Thanks, Mr. for sponsoring today's video. Now let's begin the heavy petting. First up, Kate Butch, whose concept on this runway is cats, cats, and cats again. There's leopard, cheetah, tiger, and even maybe snow leopard and lion woven into this cacophony of a dress. And I really like how it is perfectly wearable. It's on brief and on her body as she moves down the runway. It's very 80s traditional camp queen of her, and in that sense, not surprising at all, but also I suppose a little Anastasia Beaverhausen with that hat. And she's also wheeling a prop down the runway, which is like a giraffe printed travel bag, which was strange because every other print on her body was cat. And worst of all, we didn't even see her take the cat out of the bag. She left it there. And while I love the cat theme and ambition of what she did, putting all those different fabrics together, I just wasn't super excited by this. And it did feel like there were some fit issues in the actual dress, so I'm gonna give this a rat. One thing about Kate Butch though, she will bring some wheels to the runway. 2 weeks in a row. Next up, touch the fashion and change your life. It's Banksie. And wow, wow, wow. When she turned the corner in this, mama, I was gooped. Mama, I was gagged. Mama, I was frozen in time. But seriously, everything about this look was so gorgeous, unique, beautiful, interesting. And I love the style homages to the 60s, Twiggy, Valley of the Dolls, and even as she says, Dakota Schiffer. I hardly know her. And while this is coming from somebody who has never sewed a thing in their life, I think that all the different pieces look really well done. The cape, the top, the skirt. And I love how they all work together all in black and white, but working with different patterns. The paisley bandana and the houndstooth on the rest of the look. My one very small critique is the sleeve bandanas I do wish were cut and resewn or woven in a different way to just hide that they were very obviously store-bought bandanas that were sewn together. This is a fully executed vision and concept, and I'm gonna give it a hanky-panky hot. My hanky code is rainbow. I do it all. And over in the candy shop, we've got Cara Melle. And she is this episode a little bit upset that Miss Tomara Thomas, after winning the mini challenge, chooses DeDeLicious to be her materials picking partner. Apparently in hopes to offer a sort of trade. That trade being first pick at materials for a little help with possibly sewing an outfit in the workroom. And Miss Cara Melle is upset primarily, of course, because she didn't get that first pick of materials with Tomara, but because these two actually have a little backstory going on. They're roommates back home. And they were roommates, but are apparently not good enough roommates or friends for Tomara to know that Cara Melle is actually a seamstress. Or she was being intentionally shady. The jury is still out. Like, Tomara was literally to Rupaul and the editor of British Vogue's face, telling them that she has never seen Cara Melle sew an outfit or wear something that she's made. And Tomara's even asking Cara Melle in this moment for like some evidence. Tell me, what have you worn that you've made? And Cara Melle's like, I don't owe you anything. And then we see Cara go off on Tomara a little bit later, and rightly so. I mean, that was a pretty, I think, embarrassing thing to do in front of two very important people. But we'll give Tomara the benefit of the doubt here and talk about how that fight resolved when we get to her section. Moving on though to Cara's runway this episode, her fantasy here is a rainbow tropical island kind of parrot extravaganza. At least 2/3 of a parrot extravaganza. And the part of the dress that actually is mimicking the feather pattern of the parrot is so beautiful. And you can tell indeed that she knows what she's doing, both in vision of creating an outfit and actual construction. It's just that she very obviously ran out of time, which she kind of does hint at later when she's talking to the judges. Unfortunately, it was her solution for running out of time that really took her outfit into Rotsville, because the skirt she made is really unfortunate. There's some awkward ruffles happening in the front part, and then it just kind of balloons out behind her in the back. Also not totally sure that she needed the little parrot friend on her shoulder, but we love the camp. This look is a Rot Polly. Want a cracker? And next up, the other Ginger, Johnson, who in the challenge goes for a very, as she says, 80s gym and the holograms fantasy, which I do see with that huge, giant, fluffy hair, and on era if cliche pink business suit. But I don't think anything about what she's doing here feels fresh or new or particularly unique to Ginger. This is something I feel that we have just seen time and time again. It's a pink power suit from the 80s that honestly doesn't fit that well, and it's just missing a unique stamp. This one's gonna be a rot for me too, and she was upset at her safe placement, but I would argue this even could have been in the bottom for me. Again, I wanna push the envelope. Next up, welcome to the funeral of Alexis St. Pete and her fish, who in the challenge did a lot conceptually with quite a little. Like at first we see her blue netted gown and this blue veil over her face as she dramatically carries a fishbowl down the runway. And you're like, girl, what in drag hell are you doing here? The Shape of Water tease, we love to see it. Except she doesn't fall in love with the fish. She's falling out of love. It's dead. We're burying it 6 feet under. And somebody better tell Dory because Nemo has croaked. And I think she maybe deserved a little more credit for the story that she was telling, but I also do think the story was very much a distraction for the travesty of the outfit she created. Like the gown was pretty enough, but it was missing length. The slit was too high. The hemming was not hemming. And with the gown being the only real component of the look besides the veil, it just really showed all its mistakes. I think there were much less inventive looks that were on the runway that ended up safe, but this look is objectively bad, so I'm gonna give it a. Next up, Miss Naomi Carter. This look, I don't know what this is. This is Fifi O'Hara from All Stars 2 called And She Wants Her Look Back. Also, the hair's great here. Take off the hair though, and this look really is not a lot. There are some cable ties, one cable tie creating the literal bottom part of the outfit, and then a few more on the waist, and maybe some tape or something in what we are calling a top here. But there's so much about what's going on here that just leaves me asking why. Like, why is her bra top so big? Is it full of secrets? This is a rot pin. I swear to God, if RuPaul starts saying how to rot, warriors. I'm just kidding. And next up, she lives for furs. She worships them. It's DeDeLicious. Ooh, we're getting some more lore on the crystal situation on this episode, and we hear not only is she good seamstress, but she actually made a lot of Miss Crystal Versace's looks from her original season. In particular, I want to note that Cruella one. That was a serve. Well, let's talk about the runway that she created for herself today. I would say what she did here is serviceable, service doggable of her. And that dog she was carrying, I was a little perturbed at the way she was carrying it. I just didn't quite understand that body language. But aside from that stuffed dog, which really I don't think was any service to her, this look is one of the best constructed on the runway. It is very clear she has an excellent command on a sewing machine, and she has even made like shoulder pads out of dog collars or dog cones. But the style itself, I think she's created is not super inventive. I mean, Kate Butch is even wearing something like this of that era, right? And Ginger Johnson's almost harkens to the same feeling, right? When you look at what they're doing. And I just want something more unique and special from Dee because I know she's got it in her or on her. But I can't say she doesn't look super well put together. Everything is fitting, everything is sitting, and I think this look is hot. And next up, stop relying on that body. It's Tomara Thomas. Been a while since we've heard a critique like that from Michelle. So, As I mentioned, she does win the mini challenge, which affords her the ability to choose materials first, along with her new bestest buddy, DeDeLicious. And Cara and Tomara were going at it pretty much all episode, but they did finally make up on the runway in front of Ru and all the judges, which was really sweet to see. And Cara too returns the apology. But I am curious, I would like to see the looks that Cara has been wearing for Tomara that she didn't know that she sewed. Or maybe she never finished them. I'm just teasing, I'm teasing. I'm sure she did. Okay, but back to Tomara. She served quite a fashionable look this week. And who was that predicting that she was gonna be one of the fashion queens of the season last week? Was it me? It's like I have the mind of a mastermind. For real though, Miss Tomara looks absolutely stunning in this pink and yellow color combo. And she's created with all these little folded up pieces, at least what, 2/3 of a beautiful cocktail dress with some clever peekaboos on top and bottom, with some fun little flirty pink feathers across the front. This look is so cute, so fun, so fresh, and so different, I think, from what everyone else did tonight, which is what really set it apart for me. And like, sure, she is basically just wearing a fancy dinner napkin, but she looks great in it. And there's enough structure to everything that she did to, you know, really get away with it. This look is hot. And next up, operators are standing by to answer the 1-800 Michael Marouli call. Hello? Hooded dress with a side of Cher and a touch of Madonna. You betcha. And girl, let's be honest. This dress is really not bad at all. It is very okay. And that's quite the accomplishment for someone going into this challenge actually afraid to use the sewing machine. Because apparently Michael doesn't sew, which surprised me given like the generation of queens she's in. I feel like are just generally well-rounded. They can sew, dance, sing, act, like they do it all. This generation of queens, however, we do one thing, and that's get on people's nerves. This dress is cute. There's a shape, there's a silhouette, and I think she did just enough with the rouging around the waist to make it a little exciting. Even though, yeah, the inside desperately needed some lining, this look is a very safe. And finally, hi Barbie, it's Vicki Vivacious. And she in our challenge, I originally thought when I was watching this with my patrons over at patreon.com/BussyQueen, that's my members only website where I upload exclusive content like my reaction videos to RuPaul's Drag Race every single week. So make sure to click the link in the description of my video to join my Patreon and catch that exclusive content. But I actually, when I originally watched this episode, thought that she was kind of robberina'd from a top placement. Because when she turned the corner in that beautiful Barbie Marilyn Monroe going to the beach pink fantasy, I was living. Like the way she lined all that pink starred corsetry with the pink rope and did that feathery fringe detail on that giant hat, I was really just in that fantasy with her. I could smell the suntan lotion, I could taste the coconuts, but on reviewing the look again, I think I could see why she was just safe this episode, because ultimately her look was quite simple. It was a basic bodysuit with some fancy little details. Plus another thing I think she did fail to do was integrate her outfit into the shoes, which is starting to be a pain point for me on some of Vicki's looks. Her first two from last week and now this one, it just seems like she puts the outfit together and then the shoe is the last thought. But I do think this look is hot. And the top two this week are Banksie and Tomara Thomas, which I actually do agree with. And Banksie here does get the win, although I could have gone either way. Tomara's felt more fresh, youthful, and fashion forward, and Banksie's felt more artistic, creative, and unique. But in the bottom two, we do have a tragedy. Naomi Carter and Alexis St. Pete, which I really do agree with also. I think Alexis could have maybe been swapped out for Ginger, but honestly probably not. So these two lip sync to Charlie XCX. Hot net. And pretty early on in the lip sync, Alexis loses a shoe and then really struggles to recover in a way that's performative or not messy, I would say. I feel like the edit was just showing her rolling around on the floor trying to put the shoe back on for, I don't know, 15 too many seconds. And if you watch this lip sync real close, you do also see Naomi Carter has a much better handle on the actual words that are being lip synced. Alexis did miss a few there. And these were pretty simple lyrics. So I was not surprised that Naomi was told to Shantae, but it was a little upsetting just based on what was happening with the two looks considered alone. And I really thought Alexis was gonna be a front runner after last week's episode, so this did make me sad overall. And now let's open our I Spy books for just a second. Did you spy the missing queen? Cause I did. In the Untucked segment was when I first noticed her blonde little wig with some sort of fascinator in it. And then on the runway later when everybody is back from Untucked, you can see pieces of her kind of flowy outfit behind Cara Melle on the left there. And our episode ends with, I think, a lot of us wondering, what are they gonna do with this disqualification disqualified queen. Because the rumors were, as I recall, that she was going to be removed in episode 2, but that could possibly be happening next episode. However, with no mention of her in either episode or 1, and only these slivers of her actual person being shown in some of these shots, I don't think we're even gonna see a message about it. I don't know how it would even make sense to all of a sudden announce that there has actually been an 11th person in the workroom that they're gonna send home. And gosh darn it, I really hope they do bring Alexis St. Pete back in place of this queen, but I guess they are still gonna disqualify at some point. I don't know. But now let's grab our cuppas and have a little sip. First, I have a message from A'Whora on Instagram. Remember, she was UK season 2, who wrote, "I'm about to honestly give up on Instagram altogether. It's so defeating as a creative to produce content that nobody sees. I feel that. When I check insights, it's showing less than 3,000 people see my content out of the nearly 500,000 reach I have. Does anyone have any advice before I just choose to delete the app altogether?" And yeah, looking at her Instagram followers, 424,000, that's quite a bit. And you would expect somebody with that many followers, of course, to be getting a lot more likes or interactions on their posts, but you know, with Instagram Reels, I think happening, and I don't know, Instagram dying in general. Is it actually though? I mean, I feel like people have been saying that, but I've also been looking at a million different pictures of people making AI art of them in the 90s. So is it really dying? That's the question. The answer is go follow me on Instagram at Bussy Queen. Because why? I'm beautiful and vain. But to actually directly address A'Whora, if you're watching or listening, post a picture of a cat, a tiny little cat, like I did. That's my new little baby, Titania. She's sitting right on my shoulder, and I think like I got 11 or 12,000 likes on that. So people love tiny pets. Get one. Next up, Raja, who took to Instagram this past week to share a review of an establishment at an airport that allegedly accused her of taking a cup. She wrote, "What in the actual is happening at this establishment? I'm at the Phoenix airport. A burger and wine cost me almost $60 with tip, and the bartender accused me of stealing his wine glass? This dude actually went to my gate and humiliated me, my God, in front of people asking for a glass," which she captioned, "Just because I'm irritated to have a bunch of followers." Period. And if you were on the edge of your seat to hear a resolution, she did follow her post up with this one later, writing, "Decided to delete my rant post about the Phoenix Airport restaurant. They've apologized and are now aware that perhaps they should check their employees. Have a nice day, everyone. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. Why don't you come around and grease me sometime? Ow." Oh, and Copper Topp from last season's Drag Race UK did announce she was taking a bit of a drag break, so I don't know, there must be something in the air, but I feel like everyone just needs some hugs, some love, a kiss. I don't know. Go share some love on there, though. Go do that. But finally, let's talk hottest hots. On the runway, I'm gonna give it to Tomara Thomas, and I did also ask my patrons to vote on their hottest hots, and this week they've chosen Banksie. And finally, I want to say thanks so much to you for watching today's video and give an extra special shout out to today's video sponsor, Mr. Don't forget to click the link in the description of my video to find out how you can get PrEP prescribed for free and delivered to your doorstep. And finally, I want to give an extra special shout out to Ashley Brungart, Dorothy Hall, Felicia, Frankie, Jeffrey Steenberg, Laura, Lisette, Matthew Burns, Sharkies, Stephen Topher, Tyler Hendricks MD, and Will and Tana, who are all supporting me at the Bussy Queen Collector tier over on patreon.com/BussyQueen. See you later. Love ya. Bye.